If Joe Manchin isn't going to replace Joe Biden in 2024, then Senator Bernie Sanders says he have no choice but to run for president of the United States. Truckers shut down freeway traffic on California's busiest freeway to protest the ridiculously high gas prices. And President Biden wants you back in mask. All of this and more in today's video. If you are a surprised member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now. You watch this channel each day because I keep you in the loop on what's really going on in Washington DC with President Biden and the US economy. So let's go ahead and jump right in. By the way, I'll be back in my office on Monday to keep you guys in the loop each and every day on what's really going on. So I appreciate you being patient. While my family and I had a family reunion here in the state of Florida, you guys are the best. Alright, Senator Bernie Sanders is now saying if Biden doesn't run for office in 2024, then he has no choice but to run for president of the United States again. So he's basically letting the fear know, hey, I'm going to be a contender for the 2024 election. If the Democratic Party is not going to get behind the current president, and all indicators show they're not, we could have Bernie Sanders running for office once again. Now let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Would Bernie Sanders be a good president of the United States of America? Or is his thinking and behavior too socialist for most Americans? I love reading your comments. By the way, Bernie Sanders will be 83 years old in 2024, making him by far the oldest president if he were to be elected. President Biden is authorizing another $800 million in U.S. military weaponry to be sent to Ukraine. That's about $800 million a week so far. He is also giving another $500 million to the government of Ukraine to continue operating as a government as they're running out of money just as fast as they're running out of supplies. Truckers near Los Angeles, California shut down the I-5 freeway, the busiest freeway in California, in order to draw attention and protest these ridiculously high gas prices. Also, they wanted to point out that because of all of the regulation in California and the middleman for trucking, that the American people were being price gouged. And that's one reason why prices are going way up. So if these truckers that are pointing out, hey, here's what's happening behind the scenes that you don't know about, and it's hitting you right in your wallet. So they are protesting on the freeway in order to bring attention to this situation. I mean, things are just getting crazier and crazier, but they are trying to bring attention to these ridiculous gas prices. CNN Plus has only been in operation for less than 2 months, and it turns out nobody wants to pay to watch them deliver the news. After spending nearly $300 million to get CNN Plus streaming up and running and on track to lose about $1 billion because they're only getting 10,000 viewers a day, they are certainly down. The new owners of CNN are saying, listen, we're throwing good money after a bad situation and we gotta get out of this. Now, to give you an idea, they get 10,000 viewers a day. Here on my YouTube channel, I average over 80,000, so 8 times more than CNN, which is a multi-billion-dollar company. That just tells you that people don't want to pay to hear the news from CNN. With President Biden now hearing rumors that Sanders and Manchin might be up to this job, Biden publicly stated that Americans aren't getting a child tax credit check because of one guy, Joe Manchin. So he's now throwing Joe Manchin under the bus in order to take some pressure off of him. Also to likely make Joe Manchin look weak just so that he can run for president down the road. Now that he has publicly stated this, some Democrats are saying that in order to save the Democrat Party, Senator Sinema and Manchin, they've got to be removed from the party. They're basically saying, you're not going to vote with the Biden agenda, you're out. So they are not talking about either censoring them or officially removing them from the Democrat Party, according to news reports that I'm reading. However, those that can count know that they should be smoozing at the Sinema and Manchin because without 50 votes in the Senate, they are dead. They lose that majority. So basically, they be cutting off their nose to get back at their face, right? Cut off a small part to get back at the early 48. And they could lose their majority and their power in the Senate. So it's easily likely to happen, but a lot of Democrats are now starting to turn on each other. They're also starting to turn on President Biden. Now, the New York Times is starting to put out who could be better as president than Joe Biden. We're starting to see there's a lot of movement going on within the Democrat Party as far as who is the real leader and who is poised or positioned to run our country. President Biden has now formally mocked Republicans in Florida for threatening to remove Disney government status. Most people don't know this, but back in 1967, the state of Florida gave the Walt Disney Company governmental control over massive amount of land that they then developed into theme parks. The land was mostly uninhabitable at the time. Florida had everything to gain and nothing to lose, and then they went forward. Now it's become a blooming, thriving part of the Florida economy. However, Disney values are now in opposition to the majority of Floridans. So the government of Florida is fighting back after Disney took a firm public stand against a new bill that prevents teachers from talking about sexual identity, gender identity. This new legislation passed and will go into effect for the coming school year. But now, Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a bill into law that stated that Walt Disney could not appreciate what they're doing with the company that he started. They're not going in and they're revoking all of these major tax benefits and the self-government that the Disney Corporation has benefited from since the late 1960s. So it seems that there is a backlash that I'm reading about online where when companies become too political or they stray too far from the mainstream, the general public doesn't like that. There's a pushback. People vote with their dollars, and we are seeing this right now. From what I'm reading, this is called wokeism or going woke, going broke. Netflix just went through this. Netflix has been putting out all kinds of content that the general public didn't really love. They voting with their dollar, their subscription, and subscription-based went down, so they pulled down. I don't know if you watch Netflix stock drop over 35% just this week, and it's down over 65% just in 2021. People are definitely voting with their dollars, and they're moving their money to different parts of the economy. With everything coming out right now about the Disney Corporation, their subscriptions are down, so as the park attendance and other purchase area from Disney, and their stock dropped a dramatic 14% this week. People are just voting with their dollars on what they want to see on TV, where they want to spend their money with their families. But Disney, I believe, is not going to go down without a fine. This will cost them billions and billions of dollars. It would also put about $1 billion of new cost onto citizens here in the state of Florida, specifically here in the Orlando area. And Disney is not going to go down without a fine. So my guess is that they're about to layer up. This is about to be a huge news story and a huge lawsuit going forward. Alright, the mask mandate ended. The COVID is still taking roughly 500 lives a day, which is about 10 per state. It came in as the third leading cause of death in 2021, and numbers continue to drop. Now, the mask mandate was dropped last week for air travel buses and trains, but some states are pushing back and saying even though it's federally against the Constitution, they're going to make it part of their state constitution. You have to be messed up. And the Biden administration, not even 1 week out, is already trying to put people back in masks. They're saying that they're going to appeals court to try to force people back into masks when it comes to planes, trains, and buses. So instead of letting people just make their own choice like, hey, I believe in masks, I'm going to put one on. I don't believe in masks, they're just going to try to push through public policy. Now, a new poll showed that about 46% of Americans say that if they're in a small area with close proximity, they're still going to put on a mask, while 54% said, I'm good. We are done, right? So there is definitely a difference of opinion when it comes to that, and that will also be fought in court. I will let you guys know about that. Russia recently announced that they plan to take the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, but now they're stating they want the east and the south of the country. They're calling this the second phase of their military operation, and they are now taking over the port city of Mariupol. However, Ukrainian troops are still fighting to the very end as they hold down in a steel plant. So they've now been surrounded and kind of corralled like animals into the steel plant. They're fighting for their lives. Putin has said he does not plan to attack the steel plant, but rather he will starve them out of resources so that they will peacefully give themselves up as prisoners of war. As of right now, there's at least 1,000 people trapped in the steel mill. Last year, Russia used cyber attacks to shut down the colonial pipeline. You probably remember me telling you about that. The pipeline brings about half of all of the fuel to the east coast of the United States. And now, analysts are worried that Russia may try to de-escalate by escalating, making things worse to make things better by attacking different systems with cyber attacks all across the United States. So if that happens, and hopefully it does not, I will definitely be on to let you know about that, because that affected a lot you in my community last year, where gas certainly spiked and then came back down. I remember people were filling grocery bags full of gasoline and putting it in the trunk of their car because they were so scared of gas shortages. So hopefully we never have to live through that again. But that's what they're saying could be coming our way, as some of yesterday was Earth Day and also my daughter's birthday. So happy birthday, Gilia! Please let her know in the comments. President Biden is under significant backlash because he's made some gas changes in order to dry up his approval rating and bring down the cost of fuel by adding ethanol, changing some of the rules, and now allowing gas and oil leases to resume on federal land because he just could not block them in court anymore. And now environmentalists are saying, you are horrible, you should stand up for the planet better. However, President Biden did sign a new executive order to protect the old-growth forests in the Pacific Northwest of the United States and in the Oregon-Washington state area. Now, personally, this made me happy because tons and tons of research and medicine is coming out of the old-growth forest. I think it's an area that we need to protect. Imagine all the stuff that come out of the rainforest, ibuprofen, blood thinners, all kinds of medicine that saved human lives. And now it's being burned in order to make room for other things. So he has signed that executive order in order to protect the old-growth forest. Now this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. I'm excited to be back in Utah and beyond each and every day to keep you in the loop on what's really going on, because it affects your wallet and you need to be kept in the loop. Now before you go, the month of April is not over. Make sure to get your name in to be one of the winners of the $100 gas gift cards that Casey and I are giving away as a way of saying thank you, and also because of very generous video sponsors. 60 of you are gonna win, and I can't wait to draw those names and let the winner knows via the email you used to register. I will make sure to leave the link down below. Now before you go, I just want to remind you that you are amazing. Have a great rest day of your weekend. I appreciate you being in my community, and I will see you in the next video.